I am popping up here to talk to you about what will entail the rest of your quarter, the rest of the year. We'll be working on a research paper project. This year, your research paper will be on global issues. And so right now I'm going to give you a list of topics that might inspire you. Now these topics may be a bit broad and you'll have to narrow them down somewhat, but let's look at this. One of the things I thought of was the Doomsday Clock. If you don't know what that is, you can look that up. It just has to do with like how much time we have left as a human race before probably it'll be the end. COVID-19 is a very broad topic right now. I'm going to be giving you an example of something to do with COVID-19 on the outline and everything else. So you can't copy mine, but you could possibly do some other aspect of COVID-19, and you'll see what I mean when we get there. The mRNA vaccines is an example. Some of the vaccines are of that particular type, and it's kind of a new kind of vaccines that came out not just in response to COVID, but they become more well known because some were developed to fight COVID. The rise of China as a world power, digital piracy, if you don't know what that is, look it up. Deep fake videos. If you don't know, you could possibly, if you were an expert in that, you could possibly make a video that makes it look like a celebrity is saying that he loves you or something like that. Or you could do something more serious where you could make someone say that something that they would never say that could get them in trouble. And so why were those developed and what is the problem with them? You could research that. Trump's presidency, there were some good things and some not so good things that happened as a result of Trump's presidency. He did work to promote peace around the world. For one thing, if you don't think he did anything positive, that's one thing he did positive. Globalism or globalization, the boundaries between countries have become, largely as a result of the internet, but other things as well, have become more and more fuzzy. People don't see themselves as citizens of a country as much as citizens of the world. The Black Lives Matter Incorporated, there was a Black Lives Matter movement in the United States, and then it kind of spread to other countries, but also there is an organization that's incorporated and is a moneymaker. So those things lead me to think there is some issue that you may be able to research and write about. Modern day slavery, there is a problem with in Africa, especially with one group of people in Africa enslaving another group of people in Africa. Child marriages, particularly in India and in some Muslim countries, they're having little girls marry men. 5G radiation is a controversy because it supposedly could cause some harm to wildlife and possibly human beings, in the interest of us having faster internet, really is what it's for. Artificial intelligence, they have developed, I think the first one was in Saudi Arabia, a robot that can think for herself. So artificial intelligence has come a long way in the last few years. Water contamination and shortage. You could write about it in Honduras. You could write about it, the worldwide thing. What some things that some countries are doing to combat water contamination and shortage. Mass migration, not only including people from Latin America into the United States, but also people from the Arab world into Europe. There are different things. There are a lot of mass migrations going on, and there are rumors that they are funded by certain nefarious people and organizations. Nefarious meaning people and organizations that don't have great intent. Drug trafficking. I recently saw a map of drug trafficking routes that go through Honduras. That would be one thing. And the problems that drug trafficking causes. Sex trafficking. You would have to be super careful about how you write about that so that it's not taken the wrong way by parents or administrators or whatever. But it is an issue these days. It is definitely an issue. Those are some ideas that I had, and if each one of you chooses one of those, then there is enough for everybody. But if you come up with a different example, let me know, and I might just approve it. It needs to be something that has impact on humanity, okay, today. So you will need to research, you'll need to learn how to document things, and you'll need to write a paper. Your paper is to be 4 to 5 pages long. In your research, you're to have a minimum of 35, I believe it is, notes, whatever it says in the packet. I'm not looking at it right now. Let's see. Yeah, 35 notes. And from a minimum of 4 resources. So you'll do a research page from every resource that you consult. If you can't find 35 notes in those four resources, then you'll need to add a resource. You can just tack it on to your last research page assignment. Some people have used as many as 10 resources because you need to have at least one documented something, either a quotation or some kind of statistic or something, in every one of your body paragraphs. So you need to support everything, not just give your opinion, but support things with things that you have found out that are concrete. And there will be some direction along the way. There's some in the packet, and I'll probably look around and find some videos, or maybe make a video to help you with certain parts of this. There is a section here in your packet about avoiding plagiarism. And for me, what I do is I read through I find an article that I think is going to be good. I read through it once or twice, and then I get my notebook, and without looking at the computer, I write down some things that I think I learned from that article in my own words. And then I look at the back at the article and make sure that I didn't get some facts wrong. If I did, I changed the facts. That's a good way to keep from plagiarizing, because just changing a word is not going to make it not plagiarized. And we've talked about plagiarism before, and you have seen how that is dealt with. What will happen is I will just keep checking things along the way, but when it gets to the final draft, the end of the road, I will be checking and making sure that you did not plagiarize, which means you did not copy, you did not put information out that you didn't say where it came from, that you documented correctly and all of that. If I determine that you have plagiarized, then you get a 0 on your final draft. You do not want to get a 0 on your final draft. You will be able to redo it, especially if you did it early, but you will get a 0. Let's see. You will have to write a thesis statement, and I give you an exact formula for writing a thesis statement, and that is part of your first graded assignment in this project, which is going to be your outline. And so I give you how to do an outline, how I want you to do an outline, and an example of an outline, and we'll go over that in our meeting. I'll show you the page, and you'll see it. I give you everything I want you to include on your note taking. Looking down here, you don't see my page, so I give you some pointers to do with writing. Don't use any form of the word you. Don't write numbers under numerals under 13. Try not to use filler words, which is like, remember we talked about deadwood, words that don't really add anything to your writing. You need to use as little of that as possible. But you can use transitional words, and I give you some examples for that. Some ideas for how to do body paragraphs and how to integrate quotations and other documentable things into your paragraphs. And just kind of telling you what all to expect when you see this. Also, you will have to do a bibliography, aka a works cited page, and I give you an example of a works cited page and how exactly to do it. That's worth 5 points on your exam grade, that works cited page, so you'll need to really pay attention to how exactly it should be done. The one thing that you need to know and you need to keep in mind is that I will not approve you to do the next step in the process until I feel like you have a pretty good idea how to do this. For example, you have to do your outline and I have to approve it before you can start your research officially, before you can turn in any research pages. You have to turn in all 4 of your research papers, or perhaps more, to be able to go on to do your writing. You have to get your introduction done before you can do your body paragraph number 1, etc., etc. It's going to be like, I approve you, and then you can go on. That can happen as quickly or as slowly as it takes. I had one person, and it wasn't a bad student in the 11th grade, who has already started his, and it took 3 or 4 tries for him to have his first body paragraph approved so that he could go on. So please try to pay attention to how to do these things so that you don't wind up getting stuck at one stage. And ask questions. That's always one of my big things, ask questions. So the last 3 steps, the bibliography, revisions, and final draft, are going to be your exam grade. And unlike other years, I think I'm going to go ahead and give an actual exam for recuperation for anybody that is in recuperation, rather than doing a redo of the research paper, because I know that there are some people who are just not likely to do it. However, Ms. Vilma is going to expect that there to be an exam grade. And your exam grade is to do bibliography, revisions, and final draft. You have to turn in something so I can give you an exam grade. She's not gonna like putting a 0 for your exam grade. So please keep that in mind. Anyway, I think I've said enough for right now, and we can go ahead and have the meet and go over the packet when you can see it. Just be thinking about topics. You will have your topics due, and the next day you'll have your outline due. So it'd be best to think about your topic ahead of time before, so that you can work on your outline, because that'll take a little longer. Happy writing.